Sebring. 150 miles from Daytona Beach, in the heart of Florida's Citrus Belt, is the next stop on the International Grand Prix circuit. Just 30 days after the Continental, the 12 Hours of Sebring puts two of the world's longest and most grueling road races back to back. The Ferraris are here in force this time, 11 entries. And there are 21 American cars, up from 14 in the 73-car field, including the controversial Chaparral, reputed to be the world's fastest sports car. But the big question is, can Shelby's victorious Fords that swept Daytona make it 2 in a row? With 15 years of outstanding international competition going for it, Sebring, at the end of March, is Mecca for the sports car fan. All kinds of people from all over America and Europe jam into the World War II bomber training field that is the home of this 12-hour endurance race. Ribbons of cars stretch for miles through the Florida countryside. A crowd of over 60,000 lines the old runways, drawn by the top names of the international circuit and their red-hot American challengers. Jim Hall, Dan Gurney, his pace setter repainted and renumbered, and Jerry Grant. For car builder Carroll Shelby, Sebring poses new questions that can only be answered by drivers like Phil Hill and Ken Miles, Daytona victor. For the fans, from 10 in the morning until 10 at night, Sebring is a colorful spectacle of sight and sound. For each driver, the 12 hours is a never-ending battle with himself. He must calculate speed against wear, fatigue against time, common sense against courage. Back of every driver's impulse to race right from the start is the sobering thought. Remember, the real race doesn't start till 6 o'clock, when there are still 4 hours to go. As race time draws near, the drivers are all lined up opposite their cars for the traditional Le Mans start.
12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Smash up at the start. Number 51 Volvo runs right into number 12 Cobra. And number 16 Cobra can't get started. Tough break for the Fords. Under MG Bridge, and Gurney on the inside makes his move. He takes third from number 4 Chaparral. Up to the hairpin, Gurney charges Hall in number 3 Chaparral. But Hall holds second with number 22 Lola Ford in the lead. The Volvo that punched the Cobra is still running, but it won't be for long. Well, let's take off a wheel and look at the suspension. Bad luck for Richie Ginther. He's in the pits with handling problems. Down the back straightaway, Gurney challenges Hall for the lead. And takes it. Number 10 GT gets out as the leaders begin to lap the slower cars. The Fords are now up to full strength. But storm clouds pose new questions as the leaders pull away from the field. This is what Sebring looks like to Dan Gurney. All he sees is 5.2 miles of flat road as it twists and turns through the S's and straightens out for the approach to the hairpin. This is a 260-degree turn. It's back off, clutch, downshift, brake, clutch, upshift, and gun it for the warehouse straight, heading for Webster turn. There are 8 right turns, 4 left turns, and the S's to wrestle with on every lap. There'll be more than 200 laps. Onto the back straight, and Hall passes to take the lead away from Gurney. But there are 11 hours to go. Into the race, with Gurney still in hot pursuit of Hall. The first scheduled pit stops begin, and some stops are routine. Some are not. Heat is beginning to burn up cars and drivers. The man gets relief, but not the machine. Drivers work 2-hour shifts. The cars, with precautionary stops for tires and fuel, run all 12 hours, if they last. This old airport may look flat, but to these stiff-sprung cars, it's a washboard. If it weren't for seat belts and shoulder harness, drivers would have to hang onto the wheel just to stay in the seat. Dan Gurney makes his scheduled stop. But there's some unscheduled trouble. His gauge shows no oil pressure. Is it the gauge or something more serious? There's one factor you can't compute in racing: luck. The GTs and Cobras are running smoothly. Miles takes his victorious Daytona car out in 4th place. Gurney is through with a broken oil line. His crew wheels the pace setter off as Hap Sharp, Jim Hall's co-driver and partner, wheels the Chaparral onto the track. Hall, just out of the car, shows the strain of 2 hours on the road. Bob Bondurant has had a chance to relax. And the spectators? They find their own diversions as hour after hour of the race rolls on. Stomachs and stocks need replenishing. At the halfway mark, tired muscles and jangled nerves begin to take their toll. A spectacular barrel roll flip. But safety equipment and harness protected the driver from injury. The Chaparral has stretched its lead to an incredible 40 miles. But that enormous advantage may only be as good as the weather. With black rain clouds moving in, only the closed cars may be able to finish the race. The open cockpit sports cars should swamp. Carroll Shelby, with 1 GT and 4 Cobras running strong, is delighted at the prospect. With a little help from the elements, he may catch the lead Chaparral. The magic hour, 6 o'clock, and it may be a new race. The crowd covers up, and here comes the deluge. is awash. Cars look more like speedboats as they plow through the submerged race course. The Chaparrals are slowed, but they keep on plugging. How can they do it with their carburetors vented straight up? An old Cobra swamps, and so do the open cockpit Ferraris. The closed GTs, Ferraris, Porsches, and Fords begin to close in on the Chaparral, cutting the lead in half. Number 4 Chaparral spins, coming out of the Webster turn, but the rain subsides from a deluge to a downpour. Number 3 Chaparral, with Sharp at the wheel, picks up the pace. All hoped for less rain, Shelby for more. With a 20-mile lead, Sharp turns the car over to Hall for the final 2-hour shift. But the rain starts up again. There's still a chance if the Chaparrals slow down and the GTs and Cobras step on it. Sebring is the World Series of U.S. sports car racing with 3 major classes of cars: Sports Unlimited, Grand Touring Prototype, and Grand Touring. Although everyone wants to be first overall, all class victories are equally important. The Ford GT is leading the Grand Touring Prototype class, and the Cobras are leading the Grand Touring cars. The Chaparral is leading the Sports Unlimited class. With 1 hour to go, the course is totally submerged. If you don't have lights, you stay with someone who has. In these last minutes and last laps, the challenge that is Sebring begins to show on men and machines. Many cars are entered with the knowledge that after this 12-hour go, they will have to be written off. The prize money is small, but the test, supreme. If you have any opinion of yourself or your equipment, Sebring is the place to test it. A few seconds to 10 o'clock. Everyone waits tensely. Suddenly, the 12-hour Sebring Grand Prix of Endurance is over. The Chaparral roars out of the darkness and wet to claim victory for America. Cobra is first in the Grand Touring class. Number 11 Ford GT is first in the Grand Touring Prototype class. 30 days that shook the automotive world. 2 races, the Daytona Continental and the 12 Hours of Sebring. American entries took top honors in all 3 major classes. Where Europe once ruled the road, America now leads the way.